Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards, Stan Edwards here, and it gave me great pleasure, gentlemen, to be able to post this video yesterday from October 19th, 2021. Alex, if you will have the honors. I think when it's all said and done, Aidan Hutchinson will have more Heisman votes than Kenneth Walker. I think... And I'm not saying Aidan Hutchinson's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
But when it's all said and done, if you look at an unbeaten Michigan team or a one-loss Michigan team that is on the verge of a college football playoff, who's the best player on that team? It's Aidan Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's the best player on Michigan team for sure.
You know, this all is great with Kenneth Walker, and he's a great player. But there have been 3 running backs in the last 20 years to win the Heisman Trophy. 2 of those running backs won the national championship. They were on a national championship team. And one of those running backs lost in the national championship game. So, based on all of those factors, when it's all said and done, I think that Aidan Hutchinson will wind up with more Heisman Trophy votes than Kenneth Walker.
And that's not far-fetched. And the reason why I say that is...
Put that in your little video.
It's
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You know what? Look, it's not that hard. This take was not that hard. Because
Don't show off now.
Please
do.
What I'm saying is I really felt in my heart that Michigan had a chance to have a special season, which they ended up doing. And again, if Michigan was going to be in this position to be a Big Ten champion and in the college football playoff, it was going to take an effort from their best player, who is Aidan Hutchinson, who on the biggest stage in the most watched football game in the history of Fox television in college football had 15 quarterback pressures, 3 sacks.
The most ever.
And is going to be most likely the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. This ain't rocket science.
Well, number one, you're in the wrong business. next time the lotto gets past $500 million, I'm calling you.
Don't tell him that, Stan. He doesn't gamble.
So you say it's not rocket science, but very few people would have had that kind of foresight and look into it. Aidan Hutchinson, he just continually rise, and as the team continually won, because even at that point, the team had to win for him to get to New York. Now, who even thought that Michigan would even be in this position at this point of the year? I knew they had a good team at that point when you made that statement. I didn't think they would be number 2 in the country at this point.
By the way, somebody did think that they would be in a position. Somebody by the name of Ryan Armani had another hot take before the season started. He said that Michigan was going to go 11-1, beat Ohio State, and maybe lose to either Penn State or Michigan State. He said that before the season started.
I just like this team, man. I like this team, and you look around college football, there was no dominant team, and even with Ohio State, the whole thing with Ohio State, you know, all of these freshman type or first year quarterbacks around college football, this is a big boys game, man. You can't just plug and play. I know it looks easy at Alabama, but you just don't get to plug and play. It's hard to go on the road like Ohio State had to do here at Michigan.
Listen, for the Michigan State fans out there, like, this isn't Michigan versus Michigan State. Let's get off that. We've been doing that song and dance forever. We don't care about you guys. You don't care about us. I get it. This is facts. It is factual based. Yes, I see Paul Bunyan over there, Alex. I get it. But when you look at what Aidan Hutchinson is doing, Aidan Hutchinson was the Big Ten championship game MVP. Aidan Hutchinson against Ohio State, the number 2 team. The only team people thought that could play against Georgia and beat Georgia had 15 pressures, 3.5 sacks, had technically 4 tackles on the quarterback, but he declared as a runner, so should have been 4 sacks that he had in the big moment. Even in the Michigan State game, huge game, 2 sacks, and one that was taken away from him, 3 sacks. Every time they needed him in the big moment on the big stage, the Penn State game, 2 sacks. When they really needed it most, he stepped up and he made the plays in the big game that everybody saw nationally. There's 935 ballots. If I'm watching the Michigan season Every time Michigan had a big game, Penn State, Aidan Hutchinson was there. Michigan State, Aidan Hutchinson was there. Ohio State, Aidan Hutchinson was there. The Big Ten championship, Iowa had 3 points. He was a large reason for that. Aidan Hutchinson was there. That's why he's going over Kenneth Walker. That is the main reason.
Well, and I think Michigan State, as a fan of college football and sports, I really admire what Michigan State did this year. But Michigan State does not have a championship culture yet, because after they beat Michigan, they just kind of floated along, and because they were better than some teams, they won, and then they kind of just, okay, we're here, and all right.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what do we do now? They don't really know exactly how to finish the season because they beat Michigan, and I think that culture will change, and then Mel Tucker, in my opinion, is obviously the right guy to do that, but they're still trying to learn how to build a championship culture in East Lansing.
Also, and last thing I'll say is, when you're trying to win the Heisman as an offensive player, especially a running back or wide receiver, you have to have a coach that wants to feature you so that you do win the Heisman.
Point.
See, on defense, like, you go in there and you do what you do on defense. You don't have to feature me. I'm going to get to the quarterback. If I'm a DB, I'm going to get an interception. If I'm a linebacker, I'm going to go out there and get 150 tackles, do what I got to do. Monte Teo, and get 5 interceptions. As a running back, Mel Tucker had to feature him. Think of the games he didn't feature him. Ohio State, they take him out the game. And whether he wanted to be in or not, Mel Tucker didn't feature him. You look at the Indiana game. You look at the Nebraska game. He had, what is another game? I want to say the Western Kentucky game, where he had a couple games where he only had 6 carries, 7 carries. If you want somebody to win the Heisman,
Youngstown State,
you start
Western
talking
Kentucky,
about
Indiana, Ohio
Chris
State.
Perry. Lloyd Carr gave the ball to Chris Perry every doggone play. Because, 1, Chris Perry was that damn good. 2, he wanted to feature Chris, because winning a Heisman or getting to the Heisman is good for a brand.
Absolutely.
It's good for the school.
And that's why they put you up on buildings in New York.
Exactly. I.e. Oregon with
Joey Herriens. And I even believe Kenneth Walker was on a building somewhere this year
But
in
he
New
wasn't
York.
getting the type of carries. Like, Lloyd gave the ball to Chris and said, you know what? 1, we're going to ride him to get to the Big Ten championship. 2, I need Chris in the Downtown Athletic Club of New York so that we get more recruits. Michigan State, Mel Tucker didn't do a good enough job of featuring him the entirety of the season, and that's another reason why he's home.
Yeah, I think, to your point, I think for those Michigan State fans who think it's a snub, no, you guys got to do it a little bit differently. I don't know, has Michigan State ever had a Heisman Trophy winner?
Since 1935, I believe.
Their last highest finisher, if I'm correct, I didn't do any research, I have no notebooks, will be Tony Mandridge. He finished second.
Yeah.
In 1987, 1988.
I don't believe he was the second overall pick, but I don't believe he won he was Heisman
How about
finalist.
Charles? Charles Rogers never made it
No.
in?
No, he never made it.
No, I believe their last Heisman finalist was in the 30s.
Wow.
Pretty
Jesus
sure.
Christ.
There you go.
I stand corrected.
Sorry, guys. You know what? I took a lot of grief for that take. I'm going to have some of the buttes for you next, and then we'll get into Michigan, Georgia with Stan, Armani, and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. Also, Michigan State. We will talk about Pitt.
Sure.
Because it's going to be a good game. Can't wait to see that one as well.
Kenny Pickett playing?
He is, with the fake slide.
He's sliding already.
David Bell is out in Purdue. Kayvon Thibodeau is out at Oregon.
I voted for David Bell for the Blitnikoff.
Yeah.
I voted. So shout out to David Bell. Big Ten guy.
Maybe he'll be a Lion.
We'll be right back.
You can ring my bell.